If you're hiring a lawyer, then there's obvious questions to ask, and there are some less obvious questions that you should also ask. So I think the most obvious is billing. Okay, how much is this lawyer going to bill? What's his hourly rate? Or is it going to be a lump sum? Is there going to be a retainer? You should get all of that straightened out before you employ the lawyer. Second is experience. So you want the lawyer to have some experience. You should ask what his experience is. You shouldn't get too hung up on experience. A lawyer with 5 years experience, in some cases, could be more aggressive, more responsive, and just a better all-around lawyer than the guy who's been practicing for 30, 35 years. So don't get too hung up. You want some experience, but you don't need to go nuts with it and get the guy who has 3 decades of legal practice. Now, the less obvious questions are correspondence. How does the lawyer prefer to communicate with his clients? There are some lawyers who spend all day on the phone. That's almost all they do is talk on the phone. If you like the phone, then that's the sort of lawyer that you want. Some guy who's going to want to talk on the phone, you want to talk on the phone, and that's important, okay? Because you're going to be talking with this lawyer for months, if not years. On the other hand, other lawyers, myself included, prefer email. So if that's your preferred method of communication, then you'd be better off with a lawyer who's like-minded. And then the last thing to keep in mind is location. If you go, I'm in Hampden County, which is in western Massachusetts. You could go on any given day to housing court, district court, superior court, and there's going to be lawyers there from Boston or Worcester who have had to drive an hour or 2 hours just to show up for a 10-minute hearing. And this happens because the plaintiff may be on one side of the state, but the defendant, where you have to sue the defendant in his jurisdiction, the defendant's on the other side of the state. Now, lawyers will deny this, but I do believe that some lawyers, when they have to drive 2 hours for a 10-minute hearing, they will be much more inclined to settle with terms that are less favorable to their client if they have to drive across the state repeatedly for a hearing. So you want a lawyer who's going to be close to the courthouse, and it's not going to be a big deal for him if he has to go to hearing after hearing. All right, so if you have questions about hiring a lawyer or about my methods, feel free to send me an email. Or if you have any thoughts of your own, please leave a comment. Thank you.